All right, BarstoolBuddhas, and we are back. So it's been about a month. Seems like we're leveling out on that month thing.
Yeah, we've been busy lately. A lot of us have.
There's a lot of stuff going on, especially if you try to drive. It takes you 3 times as long to go anywhere. I don't know. People are slowing down. Crowds are building.
Yep.
It's just hard to deal with.
The secret of our little area is out, and people are moving here in droves.
Yeah, that's true. And who would think a secret here would draw anybody? So what we're going to do is we're going to do forbearance. What a concept. So we've been doing kind of the what a concept thing. And a lot of things we're doing. We did one on kindness. You remember the one on kindness? And gratitude. We did gratitude and all that. So, and everybody comes back and says, who the hell are you two to be talking about this? Well, we need it probably more than you do.
Especially the tolerance part.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I have a hard time tolerating me.
Well, we all need to be reminded from time to time, correct?
Yes, we do. So we're going to talk about forbearance. It's not really a word you hear much anymore.
It's patience and self-control.
It's all the whole thing. That's one of the definitions is patience, self-control, restraint, and tolerance, forbearance from taking action. So there's a whole bunch built around that. So you can be tolerant, but you can add a little more to the situation.
Oh, yeah. The quality of being patient and being able to forgive someone or control yourself in a difficult situation, that has got a bigger meaning now.
That is really freaking hard to do. And, you know, one of the nice things about forbearance, if you're a Scrabble player, that's an 18-point word.
Always think.
Everybody gets a win on this one, right? So there was a guy who lived a long, long time ago. He's fairly famous. He wrote some books, The Jungle Book, some other stuff. His name was Rudyard Kipling. And he wrote possibly one of the most famous poems that I know of. I don't go for the big, sophisticated ones that all the stuff you have to understand about poetry to read. Mm-hmm. So I go for
about Dylan Thomas earlier.
Yeah. You have to be drunk to listen to him because it's the way he wrote it, I think. So anyway, we're going to read this, and then we're going to kind of talk about how it applies in the world today and how we could use it to great effect, actually. Yeah. So if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or be lied about and don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give away to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise.
If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave life to broken and stood upon them with worn-out tools.
If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long and after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on.
If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men can count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
So there's a whole lot in that. Mm-hmm. And, there's just some guy sitting there thinking, wouldn't life just be great if we could all do this? But this is kind of an instruction manual. Mm-hmm. If you can put any of this in play in any situation during the day, you might come away with a cooler head and a better day, and you might have made a positive impact on somebody. And none of this is really easy. When you get out in the real world and you're facing this, and it's right here, and you've got to make those split-second decisions about, well, how pissed off am I? What are they taking away from me? What are they trying to do to me? If you can back up and stop for 2 or 3 seconds and just say, this might not have the value that they think it does, and I'm going to sit and listen to it for a while, and I'm going to see what I can do. You might even be able to add something to that interchange and diffuse it and make a better day for everybody. Right. So, again, this is one of those things we're going to get some calls. you guys, you can't do this. What are you doing? You're trying to sell a car with no tires here. So, but we're all in the same bucket together.
Yeah.
And especially with, you watch the news. Mm-hmm. It's just getting worse and worse and a little crazier by the day. Things that are happening now that you never thought would happen, like the thing you mentioned in Massachusetts.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
The Catholic couple have been denied, so far denied, probably going to take it to the state level, but because of their Catholic beliefs, they've been in a foster care program, done all the classes, all the training and everything, and now the state has denied them because they're afraid that because they have a religious belief, if their foster child decides to identify as anything but their own gender, that they'll stand in their way. And this is freedom of religion under attack.
It's just attack on your freedoms, your basic freedom. And this is what happens when the state determines that they're in charge of your well-being. They know better than you do. So we can pick on this as a specific issue, but really it's happening everywhere in a lot of different ways. It's like yesterday I read a piece about, I think it was Best Buy, so don't sue me if it wasn't Best Buy. They put an ad out for help wanted, and they said something to the effect that blacks only need apply. Now, there's federal laws that judge what you just went through.
Yep.
Employment laws, sex, creed, political affiliation, all those kind of things, religion. Mm-hmm. You're protected by law from anyone interfering in that.
Correct.
Somebody would say, well, what's the state interfering with it? But there are employment laws that do got it. So we're dealing with a lot of situations that don't feel right and just. But if we start getting on the other side and screaming back, it's going down the toilet. So when you talk about forbearance, you have to take that position for a little while, if nothing else, to clear your head and get a clear path.
Listen to the other side.
Yeah. What are you going to do that's going to make this better? You can argue with it. You can fight it. You can get in the streets and throw rocks at each other. You can sue each other into oblivion. Mm-hmm. But there's got to be a different way to get this done. And as we said several times, you got to start with you, because if you can't control you, you're just going to make a mess of everybody else.
Well, that's the problem.
It's getting to the point where it's really becoming an issue, and you can see it in people's eyes. They're just tired of it. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that people, when I go to places I haven't been before, like when I work, they'll watch you for 2 or 3 minutes and try to size you up. I mean, people always did that, first impression kind of rule, but they size you up by what you're saying about what your politics are, whatever that political range is, whatever you believe, and they're waiting to see where they can't go.
Right.
And that's so different from the way I was raised. And I would like to make this a better place. So to do that, forbearance, not only is it tolerance, but it's an action item for life. Yeah. You're going to help the whole situation. Being able to forgive someone in situations not really that critical. Mm-hmm. You say, well, it was a misunderstanding. Could we talk about it again? Or control yourself in that situation. And that's tough for me. When I get pissed off, you're going to know about it.
Yeah, but we've always said you can agree to disagree, but you don't have to go to war over it.
Well, that phrase, when we were racing up, you can agree to disagree, was like the safe spot. That was a safe word, right?
Yeah.
It's no longer true.
Now it's us versus them, whatever side you're on.
If you disagree in a word and with words and terms that the other side doesn't agree, you're engaging in hate speech. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're oppressing them. You're marginalizing them, and that's not a road that anybody can travel on long, because it's going to come back to the people that are pushing in this way. They're going to get pushed on. Eventually, that may actually become the norm. It may actually what it does mean what they think it does instead of what we think it does. So, you got to work on this. It's gonna work on you. So I don't know. We got some levity here. We didn't put the definition of that, but we're just going to have some fun here. So we haven't talked about Joe Biden in a while.
Yeah, and there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, there's a political Joe Biden, which we really don't like, but there's a human being Joe Biden. So, we walk a thin line here. Like we said before, that guy, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, all that crowd, they could be running some charity event at a nursing home at their age and petting the dog. Bingo. Yeah, be having a good life after everything they've done for the country and all they've done in their life. they could take it easy and enjoy what they used to say, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Now we're just enjoying the labor of the fruits. It's nuts. So
sour apples.
So we tried to write a song. We didn't get very far because the copyright impingement thing and all that. So I heard John Denver on the radio the other day, and he was singing "Leaving on a Jet Plane," right?
Yeah.
So we rewrote the chorus just for Joe Biden. Say, "'Cause he's fallen from a jet plane, don't know if he can get up again. Oh, Joe, you have to go. Yes, he's stumbling from a jet plane. No need to see him here again. Oh, Joe, please, please just go." So I wasn't going to sing it because the YouTube copyright thing. If you heard me sing, you wouldn't like it anyway. So we to be fair, we went to the other side.
Okay.
We went to Mother Goose for Donald Trump, right? Trumpty Dumpty spoke at the mall. Trumpty Dumpty had a great fall. All these horses' asses and all these yes men couldn't put Trumpty together again. So, and we're not casting our vote one way or the other here. What we're saying is these two guys, along with everybody else we've already mentioned, are not getting the job done. We don't think they ever will get the job done. All the divisiveness and everything going on, they need to go. They need to let somebody come in. They used to call it fresh blood, but I don't like seeing fresh blood. They need to let somebody who really wants to do the job and can do the job and can bring people together, But we thought we'd have a little fun with that one, right? So we don't have a lot this week. Do you have something else? Anything that's in the news that was amusing to you?
Amusing. No, I've just been really concentrating on that New Hampshire thing.
New Hampshire?
Or Massachusetts.
Oh, the Massachusetts,
I
yeah.
have to say Massachusetts.
Yeah. It's a beautiful state to look at. Mm-hmm. If it didn't have any people, I'd go there. So, but when you're out in the world this week, like we always say, right? Don't slap the cobra.
Don't poke the bear.
Never point a gun at a police officer, and
engage the brain before the mouth always.
Yes, that's a golden rule right there. That's like of the top three, and it's probably the hardest one.
Think before you speak.
Yes. So we're going to be looking out in the world here. We had some stuff happen over here this week. We had the tornado touchdown over there in Knoxville, and I made the great mistake of going there the next day. Mm-hmm. And not listening to the news. I did not know there had been a tornado, so I'm trying to go over there and get some lunch for 30, 40 minutes. I was there 3.5 hours just trying to get through.
What the hell's going on?
What's going on? Did I miss something? Is there a football game? It was intense. So there's been the weather's been, we could talk a minute about the weather. All this temperature. It's supposed to be 120 in Texas.
On the fire in Hawaii.
Yeah, it took Lahaina out. Did you see the pictures of that?
Oh, it's just devastating.
It took the whole thing. It looked like somebody dropped a bomb there.
It's some 80 people missing, and they're thinking 80 confirmed dead and like 1,500 missing. And he just swept through there they had very little warning, if any.
It was odd. I saw it. And the third thing that came to my mind was there's not a lot around that place. And I'd wondered if the fire actually started in the town. Apparently it didn't.
But a forest fire, but
yeah,
you've seen Hawaii. I mean, they have their forest and everything, but in those resort areas on the coast, or on the beach, there are condos and a palm tree here and one way over there. There's not a bunch of undergrowth like in a forest where you have a fire.
Yeah. Well, when I first heard about it, I looked at the picture and I thought, are they sure it was a forest fire? The town caught on fire and burnt the forest around it, because you can't really tell. But that was a hot fire, too. It just turned everything gray.
Yep.
And in a place that has volcanoes, that was pretty spectacular to see that kind of devastation from anything but a lava flow.
Yeah.
So we really feel bad for those folks out there. It's there's not much left to rebuild out there. But the weather, people are talking about climate change and stuff even more now, and Canada's still on fire. And speaking of Canada being on fire, did you see where Trudeau and his wife are splitting up?
Oh, imagine that.
Well, the next day
they've seen the light.
Well, the next day there was a thing came on YouTube. You can't believe everything you read. Somebody said he was going to come out as gay.
Oh, you can say anything out there now.
It's like, why don't everybody just take a minute and use some forbearance? Mm-hmm. Do you need to know everything about another person?
Right.
I was happier when I didn't. Mm-hmm. You go somewhere and you meet somebody and you say, that's a great guy. And somebody goes, well, he really is not a good person. But that was okay.
Yeah.
He didn't stand up and tell you how bad he was when he met you.
Yeah.
He didn't put it on the internet.
One thing about the forbearance, and it's in the words that we've talked about, but it's actually sometimes not taking action.
Knowing when to make the move.
Yeah.
You ever play chess?
Oh, yeah.
Knowing when not to make a certain
You
move.
don't always have to respond. You don't always have to give your opinion. Sometimes you just can sit back.
Exactly. We go back. One of our things we did a while back, we were talking about people going, my truth. There is only the truth.
Yeah.
And then there's your opinion, which is the only thing we have on here.
Yeah.
If the truth knocked on the door, we'd probably say we gave it the office. So, but let's try to wind down. It's not going to be a long one today, but let's wind down and do something valuable here. Again, we always quote the Dalai Lama, all beings want a happy life, and we want all beings to have that life, and I want to have that life too. So just cool heads need to prevail right now. And, you don't have to speak in volumes to be heard. I ramble all the time.
Sometimes the less you say has more impact.
Yeah, I've proven that several times. And anybody that's ever been married knows that that's not going to work anyway. So, but again, choose your words, choose your fights, choose the time to be nice, and try to be nice twice as many times as you're not nice, or be neutral. Neutral is good sometimes, but the forbearance will help you get to that place.
Right.
Because the only thing that's going to work in a planet now with 8 billion people, shrinking resources, and short tempers, it's a little bit of tolerance and a whole lot of forbearance. Otherwise, the world's going to turn into the Ukraine, right? We're on the brink of that if we don't back off.
Yeah.
And it's going to take every one of us doing our little part to put a little bit of Teflon between us and the next guy. You were a Boy Scout, right?
Yep.
You used to build a fire. You just rub them sticks together long enough, and poof, you got a fire. Yeah, and then you cook your weenie. I don't want a global weenie fire. I don't need that. So that's all I got for today. Like I said, it's shorter than usual, which will be a blessing to many. So, like I said, just remember, your life is your message. What message are you sending to the world? Make it a good one.
Practice peace.
Practice peace. We're out. See you later.